This is the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The following presentation is controversial and may be offensive to some audiences.
I am glad that in this administration we have increased the amount of money for handling the problem of dangerous drugs sevenfold. It will be $600 million this year. More money will be needed in the future. I want to say, however, that despite our budget problems, to the extent money can help in meeting the problem of dangerous drugs, it will be available. This is one area where we cannot have budget cuts because we must wage what I have called total war against public enemy number one in the United States, the problem of dangerous drugs.
It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. We'll shoot your dogs in front of your kids, 'cause we are the SWAT. We're here for your pot and all the cash that you've got. We are adrenaline junkies taking orders from the top. KGB and the DEA, they'll make you disappear like in Guantanamo Bay. In the middle of the night, you'll have nothing to say. If we get the wrong address, it doesn't matter anyway. We'll still get our kicks, we'll still have our fun. Yeah, we are the SWAT, we are adrenaline junkies till the drugs are all gone. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. You do the time for your victimless crime. It's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid.
You shoot my dog! You shoot my fucking dog! Oh my God!
This is a war, and this is your fate. We are the face of your new police state. We are the law, and we've got the guns. Statutory power, mandatory minimums. We are the SWAT, we're here for your pot and all the cash that you got. We are adrenaline junkies taking orders from the czar. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. You do the time for your victimless crime. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. Flash bang on the ground, don't hear a sound. Could be you, could be the mayor of your town. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid, don't be afraid.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power cleared.
We've got a roll program. Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M.
Did you have a happy Turkey Day? Folks, Denise ain't here. Hopefully we'll have her on the phone. But once again, we are on Saturday live in Detroit.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keeping you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan medical marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. Hey. You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855 Triple M Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal. Hey. You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855 Triple M Radio. Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
Absolutely appalled. I'm just absolutely appalled by that video. Did you see the video that opened up the show, guys? Did you see the dogs getting shot in front of kids? Did you see the paramilitary-style raids going down? It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. It's bad news, guys. It's bad news. When I saw this video, oh my God. And if I would challenge you to look at it back. Go back and look at it again. Watch what goes on. Because this is the kind of thing that's happening. 70 to 80,000 of these a year go down in the United States of America. 70 to 80,000 of them a year. And if you want that kind of a police state in your country, I'd say that's not what we came to America for when we ran from England. I'd say when we started our own turf here, it was about freedom. It wasn't about, we're going to get up in your life and tell you how to do things. It was exactly the opposite of that. You guys have too much, your nose is too far up our butts, Mr. King. We're out of here. Do we have to do this again? Where are you going to run to? I'd say the manifest destiny has completed itself. Ask the prosecutors in the, Western District. They'll tell you. Welcome to the show. Look, in Detroit. It's really warm in here. It's warm up here for this time of the year. If you're listening live, welcome to the show. It's Saturday, the 26th of November, 2011. It's just after 12 noon. I'm Steve Greene. Normally, I'm patient. I'm a caregiver in the state of Michigan. I participate in our medical marijuana program here. We passed a law in 2008 in Michigan, and I participated almost immediately. But shortly to be followed by a near no-knock raid. They knocked. It wasn't a raid. They didn't have a warrant. Had to sue them to get them to back off the frickin' door. And it worked for now. But when a guy who is, I'm an HIV patient. When a guy's got to beat back the police with a lawsuit, when he's got to, stranglehold his superiors by saying, look, we can't afford to wrangle with this guy because he's going to cost us too much frickin' money. We're out here to make money, not lose it. Go steal from somebody and just make sure it's not him. Look, I got nothing to steal anyways, guys. I got news for you. There's nothing here to take from me except my medicine and my life. Is that what you want? Is that what you're after? Because that's all I got to give you. This show is now available on iTunes. I hope you're listening on iTunes. You can check it out on iTunes. It's as simple as just looking for the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Excuse me. If you search that way under Medical Marijuana Radio Show, you're going to have to list down the options a little bit further. You got to show all podcasts because it only shows you the top-rated two. And since we're just too new to the iTunes arena, You're not going to find us at the top yet. So you have to hit. But there's a better way to search. If you search in the iTunes application for MMRN, I take that back. No, that's for Ustream. Oh boy, I'm pulling a Herman Cain. I'm having a Herman Cain moment here. If you search under Radio Weed Show in iTunes, all one word, Radio Weed Show, you'll find us. We're the only thing that pops up that way. So that's how you'll find us there. But today we're doing a 2-hour show. It's a little bit different. Shaking up the snow globe and watching the snow fall differently, I think it's at least interesting. If you want to be on the show today, guys, it's really simple. Let me lay the number on you. Normally we've got a toll-free number. It's in the jingle, the 855-MMM radio number. Still working out details and getting it moved because we're improving this show. We're improving the program. We're improving our ability to be heard by the masses because this is the Michigan Medical Marijuana Radio Network. It used to have the Michigan moniker in front of it. Now it's going to end up being the National Medical Marijuana Radio Network. And you know why it's a radio network? Because it's exactly that. We're going to start incorporating some of these other programs into the show. You'll find that coming up later on. On the show today, I wanted to talk about this no-knock raid BS and the police state it's creating. They're trying to expand this. Look at the Obama administration and their crackdown. Did you see the stuff that went down a week or so ago in Colorado and also in Washington State? Don't think for a moment that's not coming here, folks. Bill Schuette's stacking the card deck right now. Old Billy Bong's working hard at shuffling the deck so the cards are in his favor. I'd say we need to ask for a reshuffle and make sure that the Attorney General is not playing his own game instead of the one that's being up on the billboard. The people came into the casino to play that game, not the one that Billy Bong wants to deal out. He wants to play with a stacked deck. He wants to cheat. And, you know, Bill Schuette is responsible in this state almost wholly for the kind of crap that you saw at the beginning of this show in that no-knock raid video. This kind of stuff is happening on a regular basis. I have evidence of it here. Did you want me to list it on? If you, I don't want to bore our audience, but call us. I'll tell you the raids that went down. I'll give you a list. There's video. I can't release the video yet because the lawyers are still wrangling on it. There's police video right now trying to be covered up where cops are divvying up the cash outside. And they think they're outside. They think that they've shut down the video system. They think they've shut everything off. They don't realize that the people at this grow were a little brighter than that and had off-site recording and backup battery power. So you can pull the plugs all you want. You can shut the machines off. But guess what? They're still grinding away unbeknownst to you. And they caught your little shenanigans where you went outside and divvied up that cash and stuffed it in your own damn pockets, you frickin' filthy cops. You're robbers with badges. You're coming in with guns and masks and taking money forcefully against somebody's will. As far as I'm concerned, you're just as criminal as the guys you're trying to put behind bars, except they're not criminals. We got to go to break, folks. On the show today, Rick Thompson. We're going to talk with Haas. Also going to talk to you about, people that had to sue their, these guys did a no-knock raid. They sued. I'll tell you the outcome. It's coming up, 810-423-2350. It's the Michigan Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free, 855-MMM radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network. The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Collective.
The details are sweet at MMMGreenBee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the medical marijuana certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
I can't win. I can't reign.
Oh, boy.
I will never win.
If you don't touch the mouse fast enough, the sound goes dead. What's up with that?
Without you.
Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show just after 12 o'clock. About 20 after 12. With me on the phone is Richard Clement Sr. Welcome to the program, Richard.
Hey, how you doing, Steve?
I'm doing terrific. Are you catching us on the RadioWeedShow.com? You're out there in Lansing, right?
Well, yeah, I happen to be in Detroit right now, but yeah, I'm listening.
Very cool, very cool. Richard, you missed the open of the show. I'm so bummed out. I hope you get a chance to tune back in, and play the beginning. After the show's off, it'll loop again. As soon as we're done, it'll start looping. I hope you get a chance to watch the No Knock Raid video. It just makes you want to vomit.
Oh, all of them do.
It's a music video, but I've never seen anything so striking. It's this helmet video of the guys that do the SWAT raids. Shows them shooting pets in front of kids. It shows them killing people. It shows them using their excessive force in the ways they do. I just wanted to remind people, Richard, that this war against drugs is a war against our own people. It's not a war against drugs. They're not locking up drugs. They're locking up people. They're shooting people. They're killing people. They're putting in danger your brothers, your sisters, your neighbors, your mother, your father. These are the people that are in danger in this drug war. And I just wanted to remind people that that's what's going on. There are real guns. There are real people's lives at stake here. And so this is what the show's about today. And I'd say that that's the problem. The police state is the problem. Having a dictator dictate to you what's going on in your medical life is a problem. And the answer, I would say, is a political path. And the political path is reform. You got to go in and take the guys out of office who are sullying up our people's law. And the only way to do that is to march shoulder to shoulder and start recalling guys, and march shoulder to shoulder and start talking to your legislators and electing people who are aligned with this position, the correct position, the people's position. Would you agree, sir?
Oh, more. I mean, 100% with that. I go even further. If you live in one of these guys' districts that are adamantly against your program, I mean, it's up to you as citizens to go up there en masse, either call and just load up and show up in his office up there, like in Lansing,
right?
Bodies and all, saying, "Hey, don't change our law. We hired you. We want you to vote no on all of this."
For those of you listening in another place, if you're not in Michigan, if you're not in Detroit, this is a national show. Richard Clement Sr. is responsible for putting ballot language up to try and get a people's initiative to recall Bill Schuette. Bill Schuette is our attorney general in the state of Michigan. I call him Billy Bung, and the reason I do is because He's a former pot smoker. I say former lightly because I don't know that he's a former pot smoker. I just know that he used to smoke pot back in high school and college. All of his, talk to his friends, talk to his roommates. They'll tell you he's admitted this himself. So I call him Billy Bong because apparently, and I say this every time I talk about Billy Bong, because apparently, according to Billy Bong, marijuana is the gateway drug to the Attorney General's office.
Oh, absolutely.
And so, if we're going to recall this jackass, and I'm just saying it because that's what he is. He's part of the fringe element. He wants to paint the marijuana guys, the medical guys. He wants to paint us as part of the fringe when clearly he's more than the pot calling the kettle black, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the medical marijuana guys are fringe anyways, so that's a bad analogy. But
of course.
He's the fringe. Look the guy that farted. He's the one that's going to be going, "Hey, who farted?" That's Bill Schuette.
He's a fundamentalist. I would say he's a fundamentalist, narrow-minded. Evangelical that basically wants to ram his own religious agenda.
I don't even think it's a religious agenda. I think Bill Schuette's position is solely based around his pocketbook. I think it has all this other stuff is smoke and mirrors. This stuff about kids and religion and all this crap is just smoke and mirrors. Pay attention to that because what's really going on is I'm lining my pocketbook.
Oh, absolutely. He's a Dow boy, and
that's right. That's the Dow Midland. Bill, for those, I just try and be inclusive for our audience.
Right.
Bill Schuette came from Midland. Midland is the home to the Dow Chemical Company. Dow Chemical is, part of these people who are part of the companies who have a vested interest in seeing hemp and marijuana, specifically cannabis, not enter the marketplace in any way, shape, or form in a legal way because this competes with their products and their money, their bottom line.
Yeah, what's even more dangerous, Steve, is this guy, the position of Attorney General is supposed to represent the people,
Right.
And he's just totally doing everything to undermine the law and other laws, he's after medical marijuana, but he's going after public officials. He wants, right now, judges to prosecute police officers for giving back marijuana that people didn't, that were rightfully there.
Well, let's just be clear about that. He wants judges to prosecute cops, but he doesn't want state judges to prosecute cops because they don't have the ability to prosecute them under our law. You know who does? Federal cops. He's asking the federal cops to bust Michigan cops for not obeying federal law. That's what he's doing.
I mean, I can't think about any decent police chief, judge that would prosecute a local police officer.
That's what I'm saying. I don't even think these local cops don't even have the ability to charge these police. Not under Michigan law. The Attorney General is trying to say police, because they're in violation, possibly violating the Federal Controlled Substance Act, they can't possibly adhere to Michigan law and federal law at the same time. And because federal law is supreme, this is an impossibility. Federal law rules, and therefore the police can't give your pot back because this makes them criminally suspect too.
Yeah, I mean, he's like I said, he's basically. I mean, he's bad, but there's another gentleman that you need to be really worried about too. To watch is a gentleman named Alan Cropsey. I mean, he's the ultimate right wing.
Who is Mr. Cropsey? Teach me about Mr. Cropsey.
Former state senator, and he's a lawyer, right?
Okay.
And Schuette hired him after he was term limited out to specifically look at the law. And what he's done in this seminar, the presentation I went to.
Oh, there we go.
Looked at the entire law, and he's rewritten the entire law. I mean, he went through it line by line and added lines to it and added a complete paragraph to basically sabotage it. I mean, basically it'll be like a bunch of mush. And that's
wait. Just let's make a sense about what you're talking about. You're saying, okay, first off, people don't understand what you did, Richard. Richard went in and infiltrated one of these Bill Schuette seminars. The Attorney General's been running around the state the last few weeks, and coming up here the next couple of days, he's going to do a couple more on the 28th or the 29th and the 30th or the 30th. I don't know. It's on the calendar.
The 29th, no, the 30th is in Traverse City. And I would encourage anybody that has some type of like a precinct delegate on up to register for that seminar. And when you go in there, hold your breath. The food is good, and they got this one, the whack job. I mean, I went in there. I mean, they had the one. I was looking at the presentation. One whack job named Dr. Bill Maroney is saying that marijuana will cause death mixed with Xanax and stuff like that.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
Well, then this is, all kinds of drugs will interact and cause your death. This is why you don't take all kinds of drugs. You look, Richard, the thing that's killing people in that recipe is the Xanax. It's not the marijuana.
Oh no, he's serious. This guy's saying Xanax, and basically I'm looking at his presentation now. He's saying 50%. There's a profound and significant amount of fraud in the system, and let me see.
Let's just tell people here. Bill Schuette's seminar, Clearing the Air, is in Traverse City from 9 until 1 on the 31st, and on the 30th. I'm sorry. Yeah, see now maybe I've got 30th. I'm sorry, it's the 30th in Traverse City from 9 until 1, and on the 29th is in Saginaw from 9 until 1. I don't have the exact location, but you can't get in anyways. You got to have special permission to get in. But Richard managed to infiltrate one of these things because I guess security was low. You can't get you're supposed to get like a pre-approved to get in there. You have to actually they send in an email and then they approve you. But Richard managed to sneak in under the radar. He just kind of walked in and stood around and took a seat.
Well, actually, I registered I'm a precinct delegate.
Oh, okay, that's right. You've got. See, this is only
elected official.
Right, only open to elected officials and government employees.
Right, I try to register as a normal board of director. They said no, but as soon as I put down precinct delegate, and they said yes, AG registration at Michigan.gov, AG registration at Michigan.gov, and. They may, they'll send you, say you're elected official somewhere and get in there. Well, I'm looking at his presentation now. You ever heard of Concerta?
Yeah.
Concerta Medicine?
Yeah, Concerta's a big, isn't it a pharmaceutical and or a health insurance company?
Right. It's a drug.
Concerta's a drug, yeah, pharmaceutical.
And he's got in his presentation that Concerta and marijuana would kill you.
Well, yeah. Well, so if you drink a gallon of liquid nicotine, you'll be dead in a heartbeat too. I mean, this has nothing to do with. This has nothing to do with.
I mean, this is what our state tax dollars is paying for. I mean, this is a pack of lies. I mean.
Look, this is about painting it in the best light for their position, and the best light is, oh, you're going to die if you do this the wrong way. It's just so much poppycock and BS.
If you call it a paint, this is a piss-poor paint job. Okay,
a piss-poor paint job. I love that.
I mean, cannabis, and they really get in there and start rubbing it in about how they beat up on Mr. Red in there. They had the one guy from the prosecutor's office that basically called it a hornet's nest of a lawn. And we're getting stung, and I want to say I'm glad to be a hornet. It's great to be a hornet.
This seminar, just again, so people understand what it's about, because I'm trying to make sure the audience understands what we're talking about. This seminar is designed to teach law enforcement and government employees,
right?
That, how to implement this act, how to administer it according to the way that Bill Schuette reads this, the way that, and what Richard's saying is that he's drawn outlines in the act and put whole new stuff in it, and this is how he wants it to be. This is how he wants it to read.
He's giving people a template to how he's helping local municipalities. They got a pre-filled out fill-in-the-blank template to actually shut down dispensaries in your town.
Based on a public nuisance, based on the nuisance idea.
And he's a public nuisance template that you can just fill in the blank.
Right.
And sue any place, any open business. Now, here's his other good one. Now he's saying that these rental houses that people are using for grows tear down the community because they rot out pipes and tear down they rot out the housing and everything. And that's the biggest bunch of BS. All you do is cut the lawn, and you're using too much electricity. As long as you pay the bill, you won't have a problem.
Well, again, he's trying to instill fear into the aristocrats of the world, the people who are property owners. Look, there's an incentive for them to rent to people because they need to, pay the bills. They got to pay the mortgage.
I want to see your presentation, man. You should see this.
Well, wait a minute. Let me finish the thought. I'm trying to say that there's an incentive for landowners to pay the bills, so they got to rent the places out. And Bill Schuette's saying, "Oh no, don't rent to those medical marijuana guys. You better put a clause in your rental contract that says they can't grow marijuana there because I'm going to come and raid your house and I'm going to take all the money." He's threatening. He's threatening the landowners by taking their property because you're doing an illegal act there. You're renting to people who are conducting illegal activity. It's all assumption. It's all just threat. It's scare tactic. But the end result is. And let me just finish the idea. The end result is to scare people into not having a place to grow. If you're a caregiver and can't find a place to grow because Bill Schuette's got all the, landowners putting clauses in that say you can't take advantage of your rights under the act, then again he's kind of closed. He's done a Hail Mary. He's done an end loop around the law by saying, "Oh, it doesn't matter what the law says. Nobody will rent to you anyways." I'm just sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off, Richard. You're my phone guest. I'd like you to talk, but I want people to understand what it is that we're in context saying.
Well, absolutely. Yeah, make it clear. Make it clear. I mean, I would love to send you this presentation, and I mean, just hold your nose when you read it.
Oh,
because this is desperation at its best, and I would recommend the people out there in the audience, hey, a recall is easier at a local level because you got a smaller area.
Sure.
Like we got that guy, Paul Scott and Grand Blank.
Right.
Especially you get a city council person.
Now, let me just stop you on the Paul Scott point. Now, they recalled Paul Scott. He was an ultra right-wing guy. He was part of the fringe. He was one of those Billy Bong guys. And so they recalled him, and so there's an empty seat now. And so it's up for they're gonna fill it with somebody. And did you see that our friend from Michigan Organic Solutions, Ben Horner, is putting together an exploratory committee to look about running for that position?
Beautiful. I didn't hear that part, but I would support Ben as a great man. If Ben runs, all y'all get out there and vote for him.
Yeah, look, it's been all over. We've been talking about this on the Inside Circle. And he is definitely doing this. In fact, I'll tell you. I'll just read you the email. If you'll bear with me a second, Richard, I'll read it to you. It'll take me a second to get there, and I hope I don't bore our audience. But I think it's an important thing because this is why I played the no-knock raid video. This is why I put Richard on the air here now, because it all ties together. If you got this is the problem. There's the problem, the no-knock raids. These guys out, lining their own pockets. This is a policing for profit situation. Those guys aren't after public safety. They're out for more police cruisers and equipment. They're out to, have more hours on their force so they can have some overtime. These guys are looking to buy Christmas presents for their kids. They're robbing people to do it. And that's the problem. That's the solution is the Ben Horners of the world, the Richard Clementses of the world. These are pieces to the solution for the puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sorry, I get a little descriptive with my hands when I talk, Richard, and so I've been busy with my hands talking, being expressive rather than clicking on the links which are necessary to get me to the place I want to be. Stand by for a second. I got to do the Yahoo thing. So look, I've got the cameras off today. It's a Saturday. I'm not letting anybody look at me. I'm like, ew, no, yeah. I'm ugly enough. There's nothing to see. I'm pushing buttons, and there's a screen behind me. There's other stuff you can see visually, but you know what? Did I open up No, this is the right one. Okay, here we go. I'm just looking for the mention from. It's still looking. Hang on a second.
I'm looking at this present. Completely insulting. It's insulting. I mean, this is about as insulting as it gets.
Well, there are PDFs of this available. Yes.
Yes, I was. That's why I said I wanted to get your email. I could email the whole presentation. We at Normal basically got the presentation, and we had it copied and made a hyperlink from it. So
sweet. Send us the link. Send it to Steve at Radio Weed Show, and I'll put it up on the website so that people have access to it. I have the PDFs, but maybe you have more than I already have.
Oh yeah, I got the PDF from Normal, and like I said, matter of fact, some of those guys knew I was in there because they know me from Lansing.
Right. You can't be in Lansing and not know Richard Clement Sr.
Free the weed. Man.
Free the weed. Free the weed indeed. I love weed, says Richard indeed. Richard likes to rhyme. He likes to get behind the microphone and rhyme at public events. Free the weed. I love weed. I hope you like weed. Free the weed indeed.
For the people in need to end the corporate greed, you know.
You're like a Nipsey Russell of the medical marijuana guys.
Yeah. I mean, hey, when you commit to cause, man, you don't mess around, you know. You don't really mess around. I was trying to help our friend, Representative Cushenberry, you know, when he was in the House of Reps. He was one of our best friends in there, introducing legislations and bills and, you know, to get that back, especially the backlog with the cards. There's no excuse for that.
See, that's more. Let's put that on hold for a second. I found the email we're looking for. It's Horner for the House of Representatives. It says, VGIP, Horner for the House of Representatives. Ben Horner, founder of the political action group Vote Green Initiative Project, VGIP, will be hosting an exploratory committee meeting with representatives from the Michigan Green Party. The Green Party is considering Mr. Horner to be nominated as the party's candidate to replace Paul Scott for the Michigan 51st District House of Representatives seat. We're searching for folks to participate in the committee to elect and subcommittees of the campaign to volunteer. This is our opportunity to begin our process of being properly presented in Lansing, or represented in Lansing. And it says if Horner's elected to the seat, his constituents would be comprised of residents from Atlas, Grand Blanc, Mundy, Fenton, and Argentine townships. Look, Richard, the music's come up. You can't hear it, but that means we're going to break. Can you hang on through the break?
Okay, hang on.
Okay, we'll be right back. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show, 810-423-2350. Call us.
Free the weed.
Steve and Denise will be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The Patient's Place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. Yeah.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It's 12:41 if you're listening live. If you're not listening live, it doesn't matter what time it is. Welcome back to the show. Richard Clement Sr. of Lansing, Michigan. Richard, we got up on iTunes this week, so people can download the show up on iTunes. Isn't that badass?
Awesome.
And then, go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to shut you down.
No, I think I love the high-tech aspect of this whole movement and everything. I appreciate the young people with their Androids and, us old dudes with old COBOL cards, we all merging together for the cause,
Hey, I gave away my age when I said Nipsey Russell earlier. The young guys are going like, who the hell is Nipsey Russell? Anybody over 20 doesn't know who the hell Nipsey Russell is.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we got to give some, like, I don't know, who'd be a young rapper around here. I don't know, Jay-Z, one of them guys.
Well, he's not so young anymore, old Jay-Z. You got. If you're looking for a young rapper, Richard, I'd say it's Astro from the X Factor. Go check it out.
Astro, okay, I had to catch up on him.
He's 14. He's pretty cool for being 14. That kid can spit.
14, wow. I mean, I'm like 40 years older than that guy, so I got to catch up big time. But
he's into hip hop. He's good at writing. He's good at writing words, man. He can put words down on paper and spit it to rhymes. With rhymes and music, he's good. For being I think he just turned 15. But man, that kid is good.
Awesome.
Anyway, as it goes, let's draw this back to the medical marijuana subject. So, Richard, I wanted to point out the idea that Ben was running for office. And you got thoughts on that? Because, Richard, I want to point people to how they can participate in the Recall Bill Schuette campaign and get an update on where that's at. And then we can talk about getting other guys into office because, look, it doesn't stop with Ben. Marvin Marvin is running for office, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Marvin's been a big-time activist. He's been one of our initial activists. And, he's one out there that's been on the forefront of the fight, Marvin Marvin.
Rick Thompson says that one of the current who did he say he was? He just got behind the Ron Paul legislation. For goodness sake, I can't remember. Is it John Conyers? I think it's John Conyers.
Conyers, yes, he's been a big friend of ours. But they got worried about all of them is this redistricting. They're trying to knock out all of our people who support us. Since the lines are redrawn.
Yeah, that's a game. That's the political game.
Very political game. And 2012 is the time to be pushing our issue down everybody. I don't want to push down their throat, but make them aware, even the president on down, and all politics is local. So, for instance, we had made a 420 slate of candidates. And 2 out of the 3 of them won. They ran a nasty campaign against Councilman Derek Quinney because he took money from the medical marijuana community for his campaign. And we saw to it that he won. Make sure he got the vote out, and he appreciates our support.
Hey, are you gonna watch the Weed Wars show when it comes on December 1st at 10 o'clock on the Discovery Channel?
I'm going to try to. I'm going to get to a TV that has cable, and but definitely look at that. And like I say, I'm going to keep doing the blogs. I do legal assistant work for Attorney George Cushenberry. As far as we have a marijuana case that we're appealing now,
right?
But he's a marijuana lawyer also. We fighting him in our community,
For sure, yeah.
It's a war. It's a straight up war. What you got to remember is Republicans like marijuana too. And
look, they do. Look, I keep telling people because I'll just be honest. I don't generally do this as a journalist. When I talk about myself as a journalist, I don't reveal my political alliances because it doesn't give you a good position from which to be a fair and reasonable, objective reporter. People don't need to know your political alliances. Just read the story for what the story is because it's based on fact, not based on my political position. However, that being said, I'll tell you I'm a Democrat. I've always been a Democrat, and pretty much strong, hardline Democrat. But I can tell you in recent past, I voted for President Obama, and I'm very disappointed in his just totally letting the Justice Department run roughshod over us in this, and he's just let them go away with it because he's like, I can't get any political ground by favoring the medical marijuana guys. Do what you want, Justice Department. Eric Holder, have at it. Go ahead. I don't care. It seems the position he's taken. Even though he went out publicly right afterwards as a little candy after the election, said, hey, we're not going to bust on the medical marijuana guys. That was all a pack of lies. I don't think he was lying. I think his intentions were sincere, but I think the Justice Department said, no, Mr. Obama, we don't want to do this. Can't we do this? And he said, oh, whatever. Go do what you want.
But, as far as Obama goes, of course, you way up at the top. And I always found that underlings in the big bureaucracy, they go rough and ramshot,
Yeah.
And sometimes you're too far up to be an effective person, even though the person, rainwater flows down.
Look, I tell you what. If it was Bush in office, and I really did not like Mr. Bush when he was in office. I'm talking about both Bushes, but most recently, the second Bush. I did not like that man whatsoever. I just really detested him the whole time he was there. But I can say you this: I know that Mr. Bush would have said, you know what? You're going to take direction from me, Mr. Attorney General. You're in my cabinet. I appoint you. You take my directive, not your own. Mr. Obama's clearly not doing that.
No, he definitely kind of... the problem with the marijuana community is that they're perceived that they don't vote.
Well, they clearly do. We're about to demonstrate it, aren't we, Richard?
That's right. And remember, tell yourself the weed is bipartisan.
It is. You can't look at that's what this started this subject. You can't look at Republicans as being our enemy. They're clearly not. In fact, they're our friends, and all you got to do is find where they're friends with us. When it comes to guns, they're our friends. When it comes to states' rights versus federal rights, they're our friends. They just like to forget that when it's convenient for them. We just have to hold their feet to the fire on it. But when you take Republican principles and apply them to the medical marijuana ideal, there are a lot of congruencies. There are a lot of places where we're aligned. And that's where you go after the Republican guys.
States' rights. That's the first one.
Yeah, for sure. Listen,
states' rights.
Before we end up going back to break, I didn't want to lose the idea because we went to break talking about Ben Horner, and I never came back and talked about it. If you live in Atlas Township, Grand Blanc, Mundy, Fenton, and Argentine Townships, this is the area that Ben Horner would represent if he was indeed made a representative to that area. It's a long ways off, guys. He's just running an exploratory committee to see if he wants to be nominated to the Michigan Green Party. And
Dan's a state, baby.
What's that?
He's got my vote.
Me too. So the meeting location there, just for the people that are interested, if you're in that area, is at the Players Inn. It's tomorrow, the 27th at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I did not put it on the calendar, which I'm about to tell you about in a second, Richard. I made a calendar. So it's at Players Inn. It's 3040 North State Road in Davidson, Michigan. The zip there is 48423. If you need to call, it's 810-653-6408. Again, it's tomorrow at 2 o'clock in Davidson at the Players Inn on North State Road. So I'll try and get that on the calendar. But look, Richard, I didn't tell you about this yet. This is a nice little bonus. Been developing a little software application. It currently resides only on our website, but I think we're going to turn it into a mobile application for your phone.
Okay.
And it's what it is. It's a medical marijuana events calendar. If you go to radioweedshow.com, you're already there now, probably listening. I know you tuned us in when you got on the show. If up in the upper left-hand corner under quick links, it's the first one is calendar of events of importance. And if you click on it, it pops open a calendar in a different box. And the events that are listed are highlighted. If there's an event on that day, it's highlighted in yellow. If you hold your mouse over that day, it'll show you on the right-hand side of the screen what's there on that day. And then you can toggle around to different dates, different months. It looks like a regular calendar, but this is designed to keep people informed. And right now, this has just got Michigan events in it, and it just got populated with events. So as they come along, the former events will be listed on dates back in the calendar, and future events will be listed forward in the calendar. But this would be something that people should be able to easily reference some of this political material by, so that when guys are holding, campaign fundraisers, or when they're holding political things that are related to the medical marijuana community, they can go there and find out where they got to go, how they can participate, what's the website, and make a quick link just by clicking on. We've actually got the ability to put links in the calendar so that if there's more, we'll give you a brief description of what it is. If you want more information, you click the link. It'll take you right to the website that has all the full details. So that's a very cool thing. And what's really cool is if we can get this stamped out into a web app, a phone app, so that all your smartphones have the capability of putting this application on, that would be pretty badass, don't you think?
Awesome. Yeah, I'm an old IT guy. I love it.
Yeah, that's really cool. That's right. Richard is an IT guy. Look, the commercial music is playing again. Do you want to stick around for a second longer? You got to run, Richard.
I'm watching the Ohio State-Michigan game, man.
All right, hang on. We'll be right back on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Don't go away, folks. Live in Detroit.
More of your calls next on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
I can't win.
Just before the 1 o'clock hour, if you're listening live, it's RadioWeedShow.com, the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Folks, we're nationwide now. We've managed to go up on iTunes. We got the U-Tunes. U-Tunes? What the hell did that come from? It's not YouTube. iTunes. We got iTunes. We've got YouTube. Good Lord. And then also we're on Ustream. There's a lot of U's in there, isn't there? Hopefully this show is about you, not about I. This show isn't the Steve Greene Show. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. I am Steve Greene. I'm a patient. I'm a caregiver. You'll find us here every week. And now you'll find us, hopefully, on iTunes. This show going up in just, probably a day or so. It should be listed up on iTunes. Welcome back to the show, Richard Clement Sr. During the break, we got with Marvin Marvin on the phone. They're connected together, guys. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you.
So Marvin Marvin is running for office. And he's in the Detroit area. He's down in the you're like on the east side of Detroit, aren't you, Marvin?
I am.
And then Richard Clement Sr. is on the other side of the state over there in Lansing. Actually, he's right in the middle of the state. Richard's running a campaign to recall Bill Schuette. It's currently a petition, and hopefully we'll get it on the ballot and get that rat bastard Billy Bong up there out of the AG's office where he's in control of all this crap, railing against the people's will.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. You got to go, baby. You got to go.
So, Richard and Marvin, how can we get involved? How can people participate in your political involvement? What can we do?
Okay. To get petitions, we have put up a website called cityhallrecall.com. And cityhallrecall.com has a link for Bill Schuette 3.0. It's a version 3.3, not even 3.0 because I went up there 3 times. When you go to that link, it's going to carry you to a page to download the petition. And basically, when you would set up on a PDF file, and when you click on it, I have one for every county. I also have a blank front, and the back of all recall petitions are the same. So you want to print them on 8.5 by 14 legal size paper, and make sure that the print stretches. When you put print stretch, it will cover the entire paper. Sometimes I've seen some reducing. That's not right. You want to have the print petition so it covers the entire page, okay?
Okay, now I just want to jump off a bridge already. Is there a way to do this simply? Can we just arm people with, like, if they get a hold of you, Richard, can we give them a packet to go out and collect this stuff with, or can you send them something? I know there are printing costs involved here, but I'm just afraid that people are going to do that wrong.
Yeah, I'm afraid, too. I've seen a number of wrong examples, too. I have some right-size printed ones. I have been mailing them to people so that they can make multiple copies of it. How
about this, Richard? Because you could probably hold their hand and help them to walk through it. Is there a number they can call you at? Like, is there a convenient time they can call you, or maybe email you, or something where they can get a hold of you, or you can get a hold of them and tell them how they can print this out? And maybe you can tell them as they're doing it how to print it out so they're not screwing it up.
Okay. They call me at this number here. I had it out, my number 517-908-2454. But what I'm looking to do here, I'm trying to do the high-tech part of this thing.
Right.
To make, well, I go is to saturate the state, because a recall is going to take 90 days.
Right.
Okay. They basically just call it a 90-day recall. Okay. Because no signature can be older than 90 days. And the 90 days start on December 7th. Okay?
Okay.
From December 7th to March 5th is 90 days. Okay?
It's such a short time for about 1 million signatures.
Yeah, for 1 million signatures. And then the people who signed petitions beforehand
got to re-sign.
They have to, what they're going to do is re-sign again.
Yeah.
They'll have to resend it again, or I didn't say post-date the signature because that's illegal.
No, you can't do that. You just re-sign it. If you signed it before December 1st, or I'm sorry, December 7th, go back and sign it again, because it's not going to count. They're actually going to start. They're going to want to start counting it on December 7th. So if you signed it up already, it doesn't count. You want to go back and sign it again, because the big push is.
I won't say count. I would say that it gives us your address so that we can contact you back again. And hopefully you can tell some friends that'll tell another friend that will tell another friend.
Right. And that's the idea. If you arm guys that come to the Recall Bill Schuette campaign with petitions, like I'm going to come and sign. Oh, you gave me some, I can sign up my friends? Great. That's the way to get this done.
And then also, I'm looking to hopefully get the people that are against the pollution, and because he's making the polluters mad. He's making, like for instance, there's a bunch of other
people there's a bunch of other interests that don't like Bill Schuette as well. And what you're saying is we should soldier up with them and count them as part of our troops.
Right, polluters, the civil rights, NAACP people.
Right.
I mean, the point, I don't care. I mean, affirmative action is one way or another, but he's enforcing states' rights on that pretty heavy. When it comes to our law, he's talking about federal law. So we're going to get his flip-flop behind right. He's going to enforce states' rights for us, too.
Absolutely. Marvin, Richard, it's now 1 o'clock. The first hour of the show is over with. The close music, I'm telling these guys on the air because they can't hear the close music. The close music is playing because we're about to cut back to the break again, which means we're starting a new hour. Marvin, you want to come back? Can you come back with us for a second? Can I need to call you back when we get back into the second hour?
Yes.
And Richard, are you done or you want to come back? Because I want to bring Ben on the line too, Ben Horner.
Okay, you got Ben Horner on the line?
I'm going to get him. I'll call you back. I'll call you back after the break.
Okay.
All right. Stay tuned, folks. If you want to tune in or if you want to get on the radio today with us, it's 810-423-2350. Hour 2 of the Medical Marijuana Radio Show coming up. Don't go away, folks.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The following presentation is controversial and may be offensive to some audiences.
Marijuana will never put this violence that we heard earlier out of business. All of these statistics that you heard earlier about the violence and the killings of both the police officers and everyone else is occurring under today's system of marijuana prohibition, etc. The only way you put these Mexican cartels out of business and these other violent creatures out of business is to undercut the price, to make it no longer illegal so that you don't have that enormous profit motive to get these people involved with that violence, etc. The only way you do it is to undercut the price, and Assembly Bill 390 is a really good place to start. Otherwise, there are marijuana today that is stronger in our society without a doubt. But the reason why it's out there and stronger is because of marijuana prohibition. That there are lots of people that would much prefer, like you said, not to use the stronger stuff, but the cardinal rule of prohibition is always push the stronger stuff. So if I'm a bootlegger and I run into the same criminal justice problems for selling a barrel of beer as a barrel of bourbon, guess which one I'm going to push? The bourbon, because I make more money. It's the same thing with marijuana. Nothing is going to be legalized in this state. It is a program of the strictly regulated distribution. It wouldn't be legalized. It's a strictly regulated distribution, just like alcohol and cigarettes. We hopefully will not advertise them. Please put into your legislation not to allow this to be advertised. We want to de-glamorize it, not glamorize it. So no advertising, and hold people accountable for their actions. I know I'm going on, but I'd like to talk about children for a couple of minutes, because today our marijuana laws are putting our children in harm's way. We are continuing with this failed program for all of its defects, so-called, because we want to reduce the exposure of a lifestyle of marijuana usage and marijuana selling to our children, and it's doing the opposite. Today, it is easier for our young people to get marijuana than it is alcohol. And if you don't want to listen to me, ask any teenagers you can find. They will tell you that because of alcohol prohibition, or marijuana prohibition. And Reverend Richardson kind of stole one of my lines because it's true, because the illegal dealers do not ask for ID. So let's make it less available for children by regulating and controlling it. Number 2, adult drug dealers will recruit children to sell drugs. They will recruit them into their own drug distribution system. For $50 in cash, you can buy all of the 15, 16-year-olds in the inner city or anywhere else that you want to. It's chump change for the adult drug dealer. It's lots of money for a kid. So you use them as gophers and lookouts and couriers, and as soon as their reliability is established, then they're trusted to sell small amounts of drugs out in the communities. And who do they sell to if they're out there doing it? I assure you, no one in this room. They're going to sell to their 14, 15, 16-year-old peers. That is despicable, and it's caused by drug prohibition. So I say, let's reverse that, let's turn it around, let's regulate it, let's control it, because this prohibition is not working. I believe it fervently. I'm so concerned about our children. I'm so concerned about these illegal marijuana out there with all of its ramifications. I want to reduce those harms by passing your legislation, and I commend you again for these hearings.
Countdown to launch. It's the Medical Marijuana
Launch commit.
Radio Show.
Guidance is internal. Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have a liftoff. Power clear.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Radio Show is a production of the Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
You tuned in to that Medical Marijuana Show. 855 Triple M.
We were hoping to have Denise on the show. She's not on the show. We hope she comes back, but we're still broadcasting live in Detroit.
Okay, Steve is the host with the co-host Denise. Starting at noon Saturdays every week. Yes, we keeping you legal. Legislators and lawyers, doctors and the growers. The show is for the people. Michigan medical marijuana, no hassle. We talk about anything, any issue we can handle. Call us up and let us know what is on your mind. And make sure when you do it legal every time. You tune in to that medical marijuana show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
You tuned in to that medical marijuana show. 855 Triple M Radio.
Keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal, keep it legal.
Hey, welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It's hour 2 on Saturday. We've never done this before. Since we're going up on the iTunes, I thought it was a smart thing to do it this way. We need a little more breadth. Folks, normally we're on 1310 AM, Detroit's Progressive Talk. It's WDTW in Detroit. We'll probably be back on the air next week over there. Keeping our fingers crossed, we pull in some advertising money to make that happen. Advertising is important to keep a show like this on the air. If you want to contribute to this cause as a guy that runs a business, if you're open, you should be reaching out to people like me. You should be reaching out to programs and publications that promote your cause, because these are the things that are going to be here to stick up for you. This is what people hear. This is how we get connected together. This is the glue for our community. If you let little pieces of this go by the wayside, you forget about this, and it goes away, you know what you miss first? You miss things when they're gone. You don't really realize how valuable they are until they're gone. And we're going to make this show big enough and broad enough and important enough. It is important. I don't have to make it important. But by getting bigger, it has more significance. And getting bigger is what we need to do. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Network. That's what this is. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to be reaching out and playing all of these medical marijuana-related shows. There's a bunch of them. And they're all damn good, I can tell you. This isn't the only flavor you can get of this subject on the internet or on the radio. It's very limited. I can tell you, as far as I know, I do the only weekly show that's dedicated to this subject that's on the real radio. There are a number of shows that are on the internet. Some of them are better than others. But I say they're all doing the right thing. They're all reaching out to people and connecting them together. And this website, radioweedshow.com, is intended to be a hub for all of those things. And so we're going to start walking the talk. And part of that is incorporating these other shows into the stream. This show streams all the time. It doesn't need to always just be this show. For the moment, while people are getting used to us, it doesn't matter. Having this show on all the time is cool. It just loops. As soon as we're off, I'll save this and code it, and it'll just loop live on the stream. You can still watch the recorded version if you want, but if you just happen to show up on the website and click, it'll be playing. So when we're live, it's on, and when we're not live, it's on. It works out great for the advertisers too. Did I mention advertising? Contact Steve at radioweedshow.com. It's really easy. On the show earlier, you heard Richard Clement Sr. Also on the show earlier, a brief appearance by Marvin Marvin. We're going to call Marvin Marvin back. I'm not going to do it during this segment of the show, though, because it's so brief. What I did want to do during this segment of the show is tease the idea that coming back after the commercial break, which happens in a few minutes, I wanted to play the Don't Be Afraid, It's a No-Knock Raid video again, because some people didn't get a chance to see it. And it's good. I don't care if it plays twice during this podcast. That thing is, I tell you, I worked with that video for 6 hours last night, putting this show together. It's a long, arduous process, putting this show together. It's a one-man band. But that video did two things to me. It made me cry on multiple occasions. I mean, I was weeping. I'm an animal lover. I'm an animal rights person. I have pets. I believe that they have dignity. I believe that, we should be humane to them. We're human. We have a thinker. Animals don't have so much of a thinker. We've been given dominion over these animals because we're supposed to be good shepherds of them. You don't shoot them. You don't shoot pets in front of kids. And this no-knock raid video punches you straight in the gut because it shows you what these cops are out there doing. And they're electrically charged by this stuff. I'd say that psychologically, paramilitary training prepares you to disconnect from the reality of the fact that you're killing a family pet in front of a child. So they disconnect. They don't pay any attention. They disconnect psychologically from the situation and just pull the trigger. It's hugely offensive. This is war on the people of our country by our own government. It's war. It's not a war on drug. It's not a drug war. There's nobody going to jail in the drug war. The drugs aren't going to jail in the drug war. If it was a war on drugs, they'd be going to jail. They're not. What's going to jail are people. What's getting killed are people. The little red beam from the 9mm, from the machine gun with the laser sights, that's pointed at people. It's not pointed at the drugs. So they should relabel it because it's not a drug war. It's a people war. This is a war about ideals. It's a war about control of money more than anything else. This is not about danger. Go find one instance ever in the history of mankind where somebody died from pot. Ever. They want to go up and confuse it by mixing it with other. If you take this and pot, that might hurt you. Well, guess what? The part that's going to hurt you is the big pharma part. That's the ingredient in that recipe that's going to be dangerous, people. So in a little while, I'm going to show you the no-knock raid video because it both made me cry and it just made me so angry. Oh, it just made me angry. And I don't like to be an angry guy. I'm a happy guy. I'm always smiling and making jokes about stuff because I look at, one thing you'll find about comedians in life is that they all have a painful background. That's where they draw from to get that comedy. Comedy's their relief valve. Go look at the famous comedians. They have horrible, tragic backgrounds. For the most part, 99% of them do. And I'd say that I'm not the greatest comedian in the world, but I love to use comic relief to ease my pain because there's a lot of pain to go around in this field. So when you find me playing the Bill Schuette song, did you hear the Bill Schuette song earlier? I was playing around before we went on the air. I just thought it was, I don't know. I have a penchant for the Bill Schuette song. It's just kind of funny.
We're working to end these conflicts.
I'm not going to play the thing.
Everybody pay attention now.
When we do this kind of fun stuff, it makes a point. It makes a point for a reason. So if you get a chance, go to radioweedshow.com and play the Bill Schuette song. It's right above the CD that spins around when you put your mouse over it. Just click on the thing that says contains our Bill Schuette song. It'll pop right open and play for you. Billy Bong's a bad guy. Richard Clement Sr. is going to get him out of office if you stick with him, if you follow his plan. God, I hope he does, because that bastard's got to go. Billy Bong's got to stop confusing the public with a bunch of crap that's just designed to line his own pockets. If you're not familiar with the subject, folks, dig into it a minute. So coming back after the break, we'll play the no-knock raid video. And during the break, I'm going to go ahead and call Ben Horner from Michigan Organic Solutions. He's going to, hopefully, after running an exploratory committee, try and get elected to the 51st District here in the state of Michigan. So stand by for that. That and your phone calls at 810-423-2350 coming up next on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Got something to say?
Call now toll free. 855-MMM Radio. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network. The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenient you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the medical marijuana certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. 1069.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
Hell yeah, kicking ass and taking names. Steve Greene, patient, caregiver, and lover of mankind and pets. I love you guys. I'm sticking up for you. I'm putting up my dukes and fighting back. Are you ready to engage with me? You got my back? Because I got yours. I promised people I was going to play this video coming back. Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. Incidentally, I got a hold of Ben Horner during the break. He's going to come on and talk about his campaign. It's really important that you get engaged and we elect people who are going to do the right thing. So we're going to go ahead and play this for you. This is I'll put you on. I'll give you a peek. Here's my ugly mug. You like that? I don't. I'm going to cut. Okay, back to away from the ugly mug. I can't stand it. Once I get a better set and I put some makeup on, I'm not going to make. Do I have to wear makeup? Really? When I look better, I'll do that. Okay. Without further ado, I'm going to play this for you again because it's just awful.
I am glad that in this administration,
this is Richard Nixon. Listen to this jackass.
The amount of money for handling the problem of dangerous drugs, sevenfold. It will be $600 million this year. More money will be needed in the future. I want to say, however, that despite our budget problems, to the extent money can help in meeting the problem of dangerous drugs, it will be available.
Watch what goes on. This just sickens my stomach. It sickens my stomach what you're about to see. If you got little ones around, turn them away. Please turn them away. There's a little bit of cussing here. There's a little, this is graphic.
It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. We'll shoot your dogs in front of your kids. 'Cause we are the SWAT. We're here for your pot and all the cash that you've got. We are adrenaline junkies taking orders from the top. KGB and the DEA, they'll make you disappear like in Guantanamo Bay. In the middle of the night, you'll have nothing to say. If we get the wrong address, it doesn't matter anyway. we'll still get our kicks. We'll still have our fun. Yeah, we are the SWAT. We are adrenaline junkies till the drugs are all gone. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. You do the time for your victimless crime. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. This is a war, and this is your fate. We are the face of your new police state. We are the law, and we've got the guns. Statutory power, mandatory minimums. We are the SWAT. We're here for your part and all the cash that you got. We are adrenaline junkies taking orders from the czar. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. You do the time for your victimless crime. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid. Paramilitary police state on parade. Flash bang on the ground. Don't hear a sound. Could be you, could be the mayor of your town. And it's a no-knock raid. It's a no-knock raid. Don't be afraid.
They're killing somebody right now. They're killing them. It just disgusts me. Law enforcement conducts 70 to 80,000 SWAT raids in the United States annually. That's every year, folks. Every year. Every year. I just look. I put the camera up for a second because I can't. In playing that, I just am just absolutely every emotion in me is angered and saddened. I'm sobbing. I'm putting the screen back. I can't take it. I'm putting the graphics back up. Oh, look at that, because I don't want to see. I want to watch a grown man cry. That's just emotionally wrenching to watch that go on. This is the war being conducted against us, guys. It's not just, look, if they're going to do it against the medical marijuana guys, don't think they're not going to do it against you if they get the mind to. I'm not a big conspiracy theorist guy. I'm just calling facts as I see them. It can't continue. It's got to stop. And the answer is political. And so I talked to Ben Horner over the break. I didn't want to hold him on the phone while we were playing that. Welcome, Ben Horner from Michigan Organic Solutions up there in Flint on Dort. Welcome to the radio show, sir.
Hey, Steve. How's it going?
We're doing really well. I just played this video that was emotionally wrenching, so I'm wiping the tears from my eyes. Have you ever seen the no-knock raid video?
Yeah.
Have you seen that?
Yeah.
It's disgusting. Mm-hmm. I just played it. So, watching pets get shot in front of kids, watching people be killed, when guys just pop the door and see a guy and they're afraid, they just start shooting. Mm-hmm. It sickens me. And this is, I just wanted to highlight the idea that this is not a war on drugs, it's a war on people. And it needs to stop.
It does need to stop, Steve. You're right. You're right. You're 100% right. What's going on out there is horrible. And, there's a disconnect, when, with law enforcement sometimes. And it's part of their clinical thing that they have to do, kind of like doctors in triage have to have an emotional disconnect.
That's right. I was just explaining that. They disconnected that when they're shooting that pet in front of that kid, they've humanly disconnected their psychology from the situation. Otherwise, they wouldn't be able to pull the trigger.
Right. And I appreciate that, but, we have to have some aspect of morality here because, that's very dangerous socially to allow any of that, complete lack of compassion and understanding for our citizens, regardless of whether or not they're under investigation, but our citizens, and just going in and shooting up things and not good, does not bode well.
Well, look, there's also a difference. Look, if you're an investigative body and you find a meth lab and you find that there's 2 adult males in there and they're armed, okay, go in with your knife in your teeth, because you might have some danger there. But when you've got a domestic family situation with a guy, a little pot on the counter, you don't go busting down the doors with flashbang grenades and shooting pets with kids around. You don't do that. I'd say you don't need to shoot the damn pets in the first place. You got stun guns and beanbag things. Those will throw a dog halfway across the frickin' house. You don't need to use lethal force on pets. What are they going to do, bite you? You got armor on, for crying out loud. It's just unnecessary use of force.
No, I agree. I agree wholeheartedly. We shouldn't be, SWAT styling places that don't have evidence of that they're armed and trying to shoot. I think that law enforcement should be, being more diplomatic about how they serve their warrants, and not automatically assume that they have to protect their lives. Every single time they're going in.
Look, it's a nonviolent pot guy. And they're going to say, oh, we didn't know that. It could have been. A lot of these guys that have pot have everything else in there, too. It's just a big excuse so they can go in with their adrenaline-charged guns firing.
Well, I think that's part of the shift that we need to, talk about with law enforcement. And what's interesting, Steve, is when we were out at Delta College and I was talking to, a sergeant from the state Michigan State Police. He was saying that they definitely have some room for improvement because there was some tough questions that were thrown out there about the raids. Wes Crumbie was talking about these SWAT style raids,
right?
And the state trooper said yes, there's definitely some room for improvement. We need to work on our training. So they're acknowledging the problem, and that's good.
Well, at least there's some. At least you can't fix a problem unless you first identify it and agree with it that there is a problem.
But I don't think he would have said that if Drew Driver wasn't sitting there in a wheelchair, talking about the value of cannabis. So we have to work on this. It's not going to happen overnight. We need to continue to go out there and educate law enforcement, government, and explain to them, where the disconnect is and where they have to improve. And because that's the key, I think.
I think I wholeheartedly agree with you, Ben. And so this leads me to my next point. The only way that we're going to really make any effective, legitimate change is politically. And so we've got to regroup and figure out how to battle back, and there's only a couple of ways to do it, and you're taking one of those courses. So I wanted to draw people's attention to your drive because you've done such an excellent job in gathering people together and tying them together with some political glue and giving them a roadmap to success. We need more people like you, and so that's why I think the Green Party's looking at trying to nominate you as a candidate.
Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that endorsement. Right now, we're in the exploratory phase of the possibility of me running for Paul Scott's seat in the 51st District House of Representatives in Michigan. And
what does that? What district does that cover? What areas does that cover?
That's Atlas Township, Goodrich, Grand Blanc Township, Mundy Township, Argentine,
and Fenton.
And Fenton, yep, Fenton's in there, and so is Linden. And what's kind of really interesting is, later in 2012, the election would be in February 28th, special election, because Paul Scott was recalled.
Right. Successfully.
Right? So, successfully recalled. Thank you, Michigan Education Association.
Yeah, see what you do when you piss off the union guys? You get them on the heels of a recall campaign.
Right, and the Women's League of Voters.
Yes. Oh, the Women's League of Voters has been great public service champions.
Yes.
They have. They've empowered women across the state with ideals that fit their agenda.
Right.
And they haven't been political about it. They haven't said, "Oh no, you can't talk here." It's been an open plate for them,
right.
and I thank them for doing that.
Right. And Steve, right now, in the Vote Greene initiative project that I've been working on, I'm becoming more familiar with government. And the more familiar I get with government, the more I understand some of the problems that we've got going on in Lansing right now. And the problems is really a bipartisan issue. The fact that we just have the same politicians from the same two parties that are doing the same things that are counterproductive and non-cooperative, that prevent, any, imagination and ingenuity and new solutions. And so that's why I'm going to run. And I'm going to try to, protect the people that, pardon me, I'm getting over a little cold.
That's okay. It's that time of the year.
Yeah. But, I wasn't really ever planning on running, but, a lot of coincidences that seem to be coming together at the right time. I never thought of the Vote Greene initiative project ever amounting to, any kind of political aspiration.
Hey, and this is what makes you a good candidate. You weren't shooting for this target. Somebody said, "Hey, you're doing such a great job. You should be speaking for our community. Talk for our, talk for us at the legislative level."
Right. Well, and it's a real opportunity to have a referendum on people like Bill Schuette.
Right.
And people that just want to take away the rights of the people, and give special interests, more consideration than everyone else.
I think it does something else, Ben. I think it makes politicians realign their own position. Wait a minute, there's guys running on this very ideal. Why aren't I on that campaign?
Correct. It's a great opportunity for referendum.
Yeah.
So, that's my, and I want to inspire people throughout the whole state of Michigan to do the same thing. You get into November, you're going to have approximately 20 seats that are people are going to be term limited out of the House of Representatives, and it's an opportunity to get in there, when there hasn't been much, build up, and you'll have an opportunity to change a little bit of the spectrum. I think that can inspire more people.
Right.
Usually in elections, not that many people go out and vote, especially in these kind of, special elections during the Republican primary.
Right.
So, there's a great opportunity.
And I think we should take advantage of it, Ben. How can we get involved? I mean, you got to go through the exploratory committee part first, or can people participate in that a little bit in your area? Or
oh yeah. See, now, another thing that's unique about me is my ability to be, open and wanting to have, a lot of people's involvement. We're going to be getting together on Sunday at 2:00 at the Players Inn in Davison. That's on State Road. I think I sent you an email out on Safer Mich or whatnot. And I would encourage anyone that might want to see, someone from our community, in Lansing, come. We're going to need a lot of help.
Ben, I should turn you on to Tony Trupiano. He does the morning show on 1310 AM, Detroit's Progressive Talk in Detroit. He's on the same station that I am. I just have a little weekend slot. He's got a whole morning show. We should put you guys together because I'm sure Tony might want to have you on to talk. Tony's on our side on this.
Right. Well, I would love to be on, and I'm going to take every opportunity I have to talk about the issues that are challenging patients and caregivers, and the real dynamic that I think we need to get involved in our government at this point. We really have to have a hands-on approach, and if you're someone that has the time and the energy to get involved, don't be afraid.
Yeah.
Because I think that right now we need more than ever before to shed our fear of government and our fear of society, and work together to find the solutions and engage in the political process, because this is America. We're still a democracy.
Right.
And I think if we just put out some different options that are, not through the same old channels, we have an opportunity for real change.
Look, all is not lost. Your vote still counts, people. Re-engage with your government. Just go and stick up for the right guys. This is all it's about. Don't let the special interest money take over. Do a little dig and roll up your sleeves and find out who represents your interests. And then go frickin' vote. If you're not registered, go down and register. Richard Clement Sr. will get you signed up and get you registered. Ben, can people get registered to vote where you're at?
Right now at this exploratory committee, we do not have a voter registration committee yet. We're going to be putting together a subcommittee for voter registration along with multiple other subcommittees. This will be the first opportunity. So, if you got an inclination to be involved, now's the time. There's going to be other meetings in the future that are going to be, staged with a little bit more advance notice, a lot of short notice on this, but there's only a very short period of time because of the special election to make some decisions. So it's something you got to move forward on. I want as many people that want to get involved as quickly as possible.
If you're
inviting everybody.
If you're listening to this show on RadioWeedShow.com, whether you're listening live or listening taped, toggle down a little bit further down the screen, and you'll see a Vote Green Initiative banner. If you click on that banner, it'll take you to Ben's website. And there's a specific application there which breaks down county by county what's going on. Tell people what that is for, Ben.
Well, right now we're in the development process of trying to create an interactive tool, and right now the internet component is built. Now we need to populate that with as many information as possible. Right now we're compiling a list of all the places where you can recall Bill Schuette. So if you're someone that is collecting signatures now, you have a contact information for, where people can find you, then we want to post that in each county on this interactive map. And that's at www.mmmrmag.com/election.
All right, and the easier way to get to that, if you're already on the webpage here, is just toggle down to the ad that says that says Vote Green. Go down to the Vote Green banner and click on that. Ben, you can't hear the music in the background. That means we're going to break. Can you come back after the break? Can you hang on through the break?
I can't, Steve. But
That's okay.
Thank you for having me on the show, and I appreciate everything you're doing. Keep the fight, Steve.
You got it.
Keep going.
All right, thanks, Ben.
Marijuana Radio Show.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. Hey, Steve Greene here for the medical marijuana certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville. The Patient's Place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast. 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
If you ever leave me, baby, leave some morphine at my door.
Welcome back to the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. It's a beautiful day in Detroit. I don't know where you're at, but it's a beautiful day here. I hope the day gets better for the medical marijuana field. The community at large is at risk on a federal and state level, and we're here to improve it. With me on the phone is Marvin Marvin, also running for a seat in state government. Welcome to the program, Marvin.
Hey, thank you, Steve.
What seat are you running for, and what area does it cover, Marvin Marvin?
Well, I haven't made up my mind. I'm not sure if I'm running for a U.S. House of Representatives or perhaps U.S. Senator out of Michigan.
You're not a flip-flopper, are you, Marvin? You're not going to flip-flop on us.
I am a flip-flopper.
You are a flip-flopper.
I was going to run for Congress, and then I got high. You know.
Are you quoting Astro Man as a part of your campaign?
Yeah, that's kind of my campaign slogan is invite me to your house, introduce me to your friends, we'll get high in your garage.
Well, I don't know if that's going to work so well, but I suppose it's a good visitation, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, we got to be original. That's the key here. We got to be original.
Well, so you're not sure exactly which office you're going to run for yet. What do you got your target on? What's your eye set at?
Oh, I want to be president of the United States.
President Marvin.
President Marvin, yeah, that would be fun. I think the basic thing is that we need to get more people in our community that want to run for office and not depend on the Democrats or Republicans who are elected already to help us because they don't seem to want to. So only when we challenge them in the marketplace,
That's right.
We'll have a chance.
It's a way of turning up the fire, isn't it, Marvin?
Yeah, we got to, because right now we're kind of begging for scraps off the table as I see it. And for some strange reason, these politicians, probably because they get so much campaign money support from people that are not necessarily our friends, maybe the pharmaceutical industry, maybe the police industry, that they don't really want to what the will of the people. We got 63% of the votes for the medical marijuana bill in Michigan, and that's huge, and yet we don't seem to be able to attract the elected politicians come on our side. As a matter of fact, so many of them, like Mr. Schuette and his colleagues, seem to want to be against us. It's only when we really organize, that's when we're really going to make a difference, and we can organize. In fact, one of the things I'm working on right now, and I hope to, by next week, maybe I'll come on your show if you'll have me again, and it's to talk about the party. The party is not a political party. It's just just like you got the Tea Party. It's not a political party. It's just a support group to support. A lot of people in our community don't know where the events are, and they don't know how to come. They're not members of NORML. They're not members of Americans for Safe Access. But maybe they could join the party, and we could tell them where the events are and who suggest who they should vote for and how to organize and all that kind of good stuff. So that's really where my heart is at right now, to develop the party. It's been my dream for a long time.
You always talk about the party, and I always thought it was a great idea, but then I'm just wondering, is it viable? Do you think it's viable, the party?
Well, it's easy. If I'm Marvin of the party, I mean, it sort of rhymes, doesn't it? So
either that, people think you're Mel Tillis.
Well, I'm not. I mean, how's it going today? Today you're on the radio, and next week you'll be on the TV, and the week after that you'll be in the movies, right?
I don't know. Look, I got a strange call in the middle of the night from a guy who says that he's got the story of my reporting career. And it has to do with police looking the other way. He's got videotape. I don't know. He's being really cryptic about it, and he's also very cryptic about his identity and where he's coming from. So I'm suspicious, yet I'm not suspicious. I'll find out more and give you the details. But, as I do this show, I run into more people, but it always seems that the crackpots are the ones that are out running government. It doesn't seem that the crackpots, even the strange ones. Look, you're a little eccentric, Marvin. I don't consider you a crackpot. You're just a little eccentric. I'm also an eccentric guy. I think most guys in the public eye tend to be a little bit eccentric, including old Billy Bong.
But when you talk about, I may not be a crackpot, but I am a pot.
You're a pot crack?
I'm a pot crack.
Well, Marvin, we wish you your best in your political endeavors. We want to stand behind you, get behind anything that you do to represent the people in a positive way. We think that's a good thing.
Thank you, my friend.
I just wanted to go ahead.
Okay, go on.
I was going to say that the one of the ways that we're pointing people to where things are happening is through a calendar. And so, hang on, I'm gonna let Rick Thompson join the conversation here. Stand by, Marvin. So Rick's calling in. Hang on, we're gonna merge the calls here, Rick. There we go. We got Rick Thompson and Marvin Marvin both on the phone now. Marvin Marvin, Rick Thompson, Marvin Marvin. You guys know each other.
This is a crazy threesome. Oh no!
It's a ménage en radio.
Oh, we're all none of us are pacifists. We're all activists.
That's right.
So.
Well, you got to activate. You got to, put the Mentos in the Diet Coke and shake it up a little bit.
Ooh, I like the analogy, but I don't like the visual image you're creating in my mind.
It's a little gassy for sure. Rick knows that I put this calendar together, and that's what I wanted to point Marvin Marvin to. So you've called at the perfect time, Rick. I was pointing to the idea that one of the ways that we're showing people how to engage politically, how to be a part of the grassroots. If you want to plant a seed in the grassroots community, this is how you do it. And so you go to the calendar and you find out what's going on, so that you can actually, go participate. That's how you plant a seed. And I think the list, Rick's been putting together a great list that's been keeping people up to date on that. But gosh, sometimes I'll find when I go to the list, I'm like, which list am I looking at? And is this the updated list, or is the listing I'm looking for in there? Where's it at? So I figured we put it together in a way that makes a visual sense and gives it a little more to organization, at least from an end user standpoint. And also a place where it's not just on one listserv, but it's available to more people. So the calendar is actually, if you're listening to the show on RadioWeedShow.com, toggle up from where the screen is. And in the upper left-hand corner on the front page, it says, there's a Quick Links reference. And the first listing under Quick Links is a calendar of events. Click on that, and it pops open a calendar. It's really interactive. It's self-explanatory. I think it's pretty cool. We want to convert this into a phone app so that people can put this on their smartphones and find out where to go. They can just look it up instantly. It connects right live to the data bank on the internet and finds the information, displays it on your smartphone. That would be really badass. It's just around the corner, I'm telling you. So we want to develop this into a statewide thing first, and then roll it out nationally, so that every state has their own calendar with their own events on it.
Excellent. And Rick's?
Yes, Marvin?
Rick's calendar, which has been very helpful, that you just started that really a few weeks ago, a few days ago.
We've been putting.
Well, I've been doing it. I do it periodically all year long. I release one every month or two to the people mostly on Safer Mish and the MI Normal email listservs, and also the MACC listing as well.
It's been very helpful because it fills up my social calendar.
Well, your social calendar should never be short, Marvin, because you are always the life of the party, no matter where you go.
He's a butterfly.
Yes, not a wallflower, that's for sure. But the most important thing that people can understand is that if you want to participate, you have a lot of options available. If you're not available on a Monday, then there's a group that meets on Wednesday. If you're not available during the weekdays, then there's a group that meets on weekends. And you're blessed in Michigan that we have a variety of publications that put forth different ideas that you can read and you can study and you can keep up to date with. We have a lot of different activist groups in different parts of the state so that folks almost universally across the Mitten and the Upper Peninsula can participate with someone that may share the same political beliefs they do. And if we expand our listing out to include activities by the Democratic Party, by the Green Party, then we empower our own community to take part in things beyond our own individual message so that they're able to customize the impact that they make on the political community locally and statewide based on what they believe in.
That's right. That way the grassroots community isn't just, isolated to one area in the state. The whole carpet is green across the Mitten of Michigan.
I think a lot of people think of our community as a single issue group of people, but we're really not. When I talk to folks all the time, they're very much in favor of green issues. They want to improve the planet. They want to improve their locality. They're also in favor of more empowerment for schools and to improve safety in their communities. So there are a lot of things that I think our community will stand up for that are very much in alignment with a lot of other folks out there. And they would never think that they would have anything in common with a medical marijuana advocate. But as we become more involved in other attributes of society, people will become used to what we are and who we are, and then they'll open up their minds more. So the more that we interact with people outside our immediate community, the better we all benefit from those interactions.
That's an awesome thing. Marvin, Rick, the music's behind me again. That means we're running off to break. Look, we've got the last segment is about 6 minutes long. Either one of you want to hang on through the break, or you both got to dive, or what's going on?
I'll let Rick have that, okay? Rick always has important things to talk about.
All right, hang on. We'll go to the break. I'll be back with Rick Thompson. It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
More of your calls next on the Medical Marijuana Radio Show. The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
The law offices of Targowski and Grow remind you to stand up for your rights. Always treat law enforcement with respect, but if you're detained or arrested, stand up for your rights by repeating, I respectfully invoke all of my legal and constitutional rights. I do not consent to any search or seizure. I want to remain silent, and I want to talk to my attorneys, John Targowski and Daniel Grow. Targowski and Grow have the education and experience you need to be successful in Michigan courts. Call Targowski and Grow toll-free, 800-957-1069. The law offices of Targowski and Grow, 800-957-1069. If you are a carded Michigan medical marijuana patient with a need for safe access but have reservations about privacy and discretion, there is an answer. It's the Ant Farm. The Ant Farm is Metro Detroit's trusted professional mobile transfer service. Write this toll-free number down, 888-369-3320. Lab-tested, mold and pesticide-free. It's the Ant Farm's convenience you'll try, but quality standards, privacy, and friendly professionals that will bring you back. The Ant Farm comes to you. Call for discreet details right away. 888-369-3320. The patient's place for medical marijuana and safe access is Third Coast. Beautiful downtown Ypsilanti is where you can get safe, affordable access to education and materials concerning your specific needs, and quality products designed to meet your exacting needs. It's the Third Coast, 19 North Hamilton in Ypsilanti. Convenient hours, friendly, professional, compassionate. Call Third Coast today, 734-487-5402. That's the Third Coast Compassion Center in downtown Ypsilanti, 734-487-5402. Hey, Steve Greene here for the Medical Marijuana Certifications at AMMP. They're the American Medical Marijuana Professionals. You'll find them just north of Utica Road on Gratiot in Roseville. Their address is 28349. Now, call-ins are welcome, but you're better off calling for an appointment. They have a toll-free number, 877-RX-420-99. That's 877-RX-420-99 for American Medical Marijuana Professionals. That's AMMP on Gratiot in Roseville.
The Greene Collective.
Hey, medical marijuana patients, it's time to discover what all the buzz is about in Ann Arbor.
The Greene Collective.
The Green Bee Collective is busy making sure your patient needs are met with high-quality, locally grown meds.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Get to know the information, the research, the benefit available to your condition.
The Greene Bee Collective.
Weekly specials in just minutes from downtown Ann Arbor and I-94.
The Greene Bee Collective.
The details are sweet at mmmgreenbee.com. Call 734-929-2553 now.
It's the Medical Marijuana Radio Show.
And it's a badass show, too. It's a badass show, I'm telling you. The Medical Marijuana Radio Show is getting wider and broader. Available now on iTunes, Ustream, YouTube, you name it. That's where we're at. With me on the phone, ending up the show, is Rick Thompson. Rick, we've only got a few minutes left in the show. This is the part where we kind of wrap things up. for you guys that tuned in, I hope you had a chance to see the No Knock Raid video because it's just absolute. I played it twice during this show. If you're listening back to us on the stream or if you're listening live, hang on to the, don't go away because it's going to repeat. It repeats once each hour, and it'll keep looping for the rest of the day and maybe into tomorrow until I, figure out a way to put some of these other shows on. I'm going to start putting on the Planet Green Trees show. I'm going to start putting on, the Smoky Cush's Hidden Stash show. I'm going to start putting on Eric Gunnell's Genesee Triple C Compassion Club show up there on Flint Talk Radio, the National Normal Live show. I'm going to start putting them on the live stream here. So we're going to take their recordings and stream them back. I think that's an important thing to do because, like I said, there's flavor everywhere. It's not just this show, guys. This is a network, hopefully, for all. It's a hub for all shows. All kinds of programming, all kinds of information. That's what this should be for.
Well, that's what the Internet is all about, and the ability for us to post at low to no cost, information for people to get at low to no cost, was the real purpose behind the Internet in the first place. It's also the purpose behind the voter-directed initiative in 2008 was to make low to no cost, low to no hassle transactions for medical marijuana patients empowered by law. And that's been twisted around. Let's not let our information transferability be twisted around the way it is in some other countries. Let's make sure America stays free and that we continue to exercise our right to speech.
Did you see they raided the cannabis cup over there?
I certainly did. But then again, I read another description that said it wasn't nearly as bad as the first one would have made it out to be. So again, although I believe that something did happen, I'm not quite certain that the media spin on it was not a little exaggerated for just to sell some newspapers.
Yeah,
I think it
I did a live update from Dan from the Buzzed News. It was actually we were calling him right after the raid. We talked to him because he's over there. And he was saying, look, this was just about they were just coming in, checking out the making sure everybody had 5 grams or less of cannabis. So the people who were there, not the vendors, they were measuring everybody at the vendor level, making sure they were then. And there was only like one guy who was slightly out of compliance, and nobody was arrested, and they just did their own little check to make sure that everybody's doing the right thing, and that's how they left it. But it's just awfully unusual that. At the 24th,
like what we had here in Detroit, right?
It's almost exactly what we had here in Detroit, but I would suggest that the Detroit thing I think was about part of corruption, and I don't know about Amsterdam. I can't speak there. I've shook out the thing in Detroit, and that's about a corrupt police force, or at least a wing of it. That's just what I've shaken out of it.
But Steve, as far as your broadcast goes today, what should our listeners come away with today after this broadcast? How should they feel empowered, and what message are they going to have going forth for the rest of the week?
Well, first off, there's an answer to your political problem, and that's get engaged politically. How do you do that? Go to the calendar and find the information that Rick's put together and passed on to me and that we've compiled together for you so that you can find out in your local area, in the state of Michigan at least, where you can go and engage your local politicians, find out the lay of the land and how you fit into it and how you can, maneuver around in it or make it work for you. That's the first thing. The second thing is if you intend on getting something done, you've got to feed back, because it's not just about electing guys that are going to speak up for you. You got to talk to your existing representatives and engage them. I think we're turning heads in a big way, Rick. I think it's evidenced in the idea that they didn't put this on the fall legislative agenda. They pushed it off into winter and then actually into next year. So these are all good signs. And I also think, and incidentally, before the show, the show's going to end briefly. I just had to throw a thing in. I saw on Channel 7 as it relates to Rick Jones. I got to throw a kudo at Rick Jones. I got to say, congratulations, Rick Jones. They did a little investigative thing over there at Channel 7 about unfair police practices with doing slower than normal speed limits for speed traps. They were specifically talking about Hamtramck. And they actually interviewed Rick Thompson, who said, no. These guys that are running these, they're supposed to do this in a certain way. And having these speed limits that are posted at a lower speed, this is just policing for profit. I actually got Rick Thompson on video talking about policing for profit and that's not acceptable. Kudos to you, Mr.
Jones, not Rick Thompson, Rick Jones.
I'm sorry, Senator Jones. Kudos to you, Senator Jones. Getting Rick's mixed up. Sorry about that, Rick. I didn't mean to mix you up with Mr. Jones.
Thank you. you. I feel like I need a shower now.
Oh, yes. I'm sorry about that. Kudos to you, Senator Rick Jones, for seeing the light of the day. And I'll play this video. There's no time in this show, but I'll play it for you. I've got it. He just talks about how it's not cool that these communities are just profiting at the behest of local drivers trying to abide by the law. And this applies, Mr. Jones, to the medical marijuana guys, doesn't it? It's the same thing.
It does. Yes, it does.
So I'm just very happy that Mr. Jones spoke out in such a way because, boy, that's a face I've never seen on Mr. Jones before.
Yeah, especially someone from a law enforcement background. They don't typically take issue with law enforcement tactics, even if they privately don't agree with them. But for him to actually come out and make a public statement like that, he must really have had either a personal experience or something must have happened to really anger him on this issue.
I think Channel 7's beautiful for having gone out there and talked about this with him because, goodness, I wish it was me.
Some of the media still has bravery. Some of the media still not afraid to go out and tell the truth to power. So kudos to them. I agree with you 1,000%.
Rick, thanks for coming on the show today. We're about to go off the air, but you can tune in anytime at RadioWeedShow.com. And please participate by contacting us by email, steve@radioweedshow.com. Rick, we'll see you next time. Is there anything going on with you real quick? Nothing?
Well, good health and good harvest to all. And, of course, we have coming up December 20th. We'll be back in court with more proceedings on Big Daddy. But keep your eye out on Sunday newspapers for more editorials about Bill shooting and his clearing the air seminars.
Thanks. Got to go, guys.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Show and RadioWeedShow.com are trademarks. Copyright 2011.
The Medical Marijuana Radio Network.
We'll talk to you soon, man. All right, bye-bye.